Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Latina Mic Drop. So, can you believe it? We are on episode 42, 42 weeks of coming to you with Latina Mic Drop. I don't know if I ever told you the story, but when I started Latina Mic Drop, I had absolutely no idea what the name of the podcast would be. And I also didn't realize how much I would enjoy it. It came out of a moment of challenge. And that's the reality of life, that when we're hit with challenges, we can either face it and rise, or we could forget about it and run. And I want to talk to you about how this chingona right here, right in front of you, living the chingona times, still sometimes gets hit with objections and still gets hit with fear and still has vulnerabilities and still has my way of wanting to hide and wanting to protect myself and wanting to not live out my life. And so the reality is, secret number one is the fact that I carry a green passport and I do not carry a blue one like most of the people here in the United States. So, in planning on going outside of the country in today's environment, in the immigration status that we're currently seeing, right? What I say and what I do will be held against me. So, it's very important that people understand that there's a different level of access that I have and a different level of availability. Now, should it be? Maybe not. Is it almost the same? Yes. Do I feel a little bit different? Not really. But in a way, I kind of still do, right? Because I don't have the same rights as everybody else with the blue passport. But I do want to say that I also know the fact that I am here very well and I am okay and everything is going fine. And there's no reason for me to have this fear other than the stories and all the things that we're hearing online. And it was even to a point where I even spoke to an immigration lawyer just to make sure that things are the same for persons like me. And on top of that, right? Listen, the fear is real. There are things that can happen to people who are very different from others. The reality is that vulnerability has levels to it. And that is one of my vulnerabilities. And I'm not ashamed of it. I've actually thrived in it. It gives me a different level of perspective. It gives me a groundness. It gives me humility. And at the same time, I'm also empowered by it. I'm very happy to be here. I love living in the United States. And a misconception is that I have only been here a short amount of time, or because I was born in a different country, that I don't speak the language very well, or that I haven't been here forever. And the reality is that my entire life really has been here in the United States. I have only lived in Mexico for 6 months, and then I was here the whole time. Part of the things that happen when we're going into new experiences, that we experience the fact that there are fears for doing things the first time. Fear almost won. My wife and I were thinking, hey, if we go to Jamaica and we go outside of the country, what is it going to be like coming back? What if we're out of the country and the laws change? What this? What if that? What if this? What if that? And we almost lost all our money and we almost canceled the trip out of fear. But then I honed into my therapy and I learned the strategies and I began to use those strategies. And I said to my wife, look, everything is fine. Everything is lined up so that we can go. We've made everything work. it's going to be okay. And we went and we came back, and it was actually pretty flawless, seamless experience. The only thing that was getting in our way was our own thoughts and our own fear and our own, awareness of the world, and actually what we see on TV, which is not our experience, but unfortunately is the experience of others. Of course, we don't want that to happen to other people. And I really wasn't nervous because I know where I stand and I'm good. My wife was very taken by this experience and actually felt very anxious right before, as we're walking through customs and immigration. And it had absolutely nothing to do with us doing anything wrong. It's simply the fear can get to you, and you just never know, right, what's going to happen. And we hear so many different stories of things that happen that are unfair, and that's the reality we don't ever want to live. So that's the reality of life. We're going to face challenges, we're going to face things that maybe we aren't 100% ready for, but we do it anyways, right? And in this case, obviously, I'm fine. Everything is good. We went through, everything was perfect. We've traveled before internationally anyways, so there was no issue. But it's just the fear that can play with you and the thoughts that come into your head. And the reality is that we should be looking for ways that we can find facts in what's actually happening and facts in actually what's going to happen. And that's how I was able to get through it without so much fear. But fear almost won, I'm not going to lie. Just, let's be safe and protect ourselves and just not do it at all. But we ended up going to Jamaica and had a great time. So the other part about this too was the fact that we were like, should we even say yes to going to Jamaica? We had the Puerto Rico trip planned to go for 2 weeks. And actually, we weren't even sure if we should plan for 2 weeks. But we've had this plan since the Bad Bunny concert came out. And we were thinking about going to Puerto Rico so that we can have a good time. She can go visit her family. And at the same time, we can go have a little bit of fun and do some different things, which we've never ventured off into San Juan too much as visitors, as tourists. We usually go and stay with her family. And this time around, we were just thinking, our friends have invited. This is a longtime friend that we've known forever. And should we say yes? Do we have enough time? Do we have enough money? Is it going to work at work? We have to ask for more vacation time. We have to take our vacation time actually this year. I also had 2 business trips planned, which were the Chicago Summit for the Administrative Professionals conference. I also have the Take Charge conference in California with Lean and Latinas. We were debating whether we should travel this much. We normally don't even get invited by other people because of our schedules, because we tend to say no. So people have stopped asking us, but we decided that we were going to open our hearts and open our minds and extend ourselves further and be more open to new experiences as opposed to being so safe. And we said yes, and we put in our vacation time. So what I did in the beginning of the year, as soon as I knew all the dates that I was going to be away, I put it in and I advised my team, as advised my supervisor, so that way we can work around my schedule and everybody else's schedule, and everybody can have their time, as well as I'm entitled to my time, they're entitled to their time, and we can work through this. Because at the end of the day, we're a team and we have to work with each other. We were really not going to say yes to this. And I can say that that was another reason, was like, should we say yes? Should we go, even though we haven't seen her in forever, even though we have other things planned? And thankfully, we were able to go and we had a great time. It was the best 4 days. Wow, this is really something totally different. It was a great vibe. The people were great. The resort was amazing. Our friends were cool. Her family was great. And we had a really good time. I mean, I hadn't been to the club in years, and we were having a good time there too. The other thing too that we were thinking about is, can we afford this trip, right? So that happens a lot, where you start to think about, oh my goodness, like, this isn't planned. How are we going to plan for this? How are we going to get the money to get out? How are we going to, you know, go and plan this out? Thankfully, we worked it out together so that we can go. Something that happens is, I don't have the resources to go, and that's part of life too, where we think, oh, that success requires more money, connections, and tools than they currently have, ignoring the resourcefulness often matters more than resources. And that's the beauty of what my wife and I do, is the fact that we both have the ability to do more, to be more. And that is how we were able to make it. And we were able to go. Thankfully for me, I have my daughters who stay home and they are able to watch my dog. So I'm really grateful about that, because otherwise I don't know where I would take him. I would guess he would get boarded, or we also asked, like, should he come with us or not come with us, and things like that. Sometimes too, we are thinking it's too hard to do all this, right? Every 2 weeks for 3 months, we're going away because we have 4 trips planned. The first one, I went to Chicago. Then 2 weeks later, went to Jamaica. 2 weeks later, we're going to California. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to Puerto Rico. We may be thinking, this is too hard, right? How are we going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? And so then the self-doubt starts to come in, and think that we don't have what we need to do it, that we're not capable beyond what we're working through, and that we can only take one a year, right? Sometimes we limit ourselves too, to how much we can do, and we don't even recognize that if we make the plans, we can figure it out, and we can find the how to, if that's what we choose to do. And instead of getting all the counters in place, we are beginning to look at life a little bit differently and saying, well, this is what we want to do. This is what we're going to make time for. This is how we are ready. This is how we are going to get ready. And the other thing too that we've been seeing a whole bunch of is that planes are having accidents all over the place. So knock on wood, like, who wants any of that stuff to happen to us? Of course not. But that's the other thing that comes up, is like, what if that stuff fails, right? What if it doesn't happen? What if I lose my passport? What if I lose this and that, right? What if for whatever reason something fails and it doesn't work out? The reality is that could happen, and the reality is that there are chances of it, right? That's like a risk that we all take every time we get on a plane to wherever we're going. And that is the way of life. Like, there's nothing that is 100% safe except probably staying in your home, and even then something can happen. So it's really important that, even though you face all these objections, and we face them at different times, and we face them sometimes multiple, and just this one vacation brought up all these different objections, right? I don't have enough time, I'm not ready yet, me with the green passport instead of the blue one, it might fail, right? Seeing everything that's going on out there with those planes, I don't have the resources, I don't have the vacation time, I don't have, you're just thinking all these things, when in reality you have the time, you just haven't used it all ever. It's too hard traveling back to back to back to back, and going back and forth, and doing this and that. And the reality is that all of these have been objections, but we have found a way, and we have figured it out. And yeah, when I came back from Chicago, about what, 3 weeks ago now, I came back with these insane allergies that really had me out. Like, I couldn't speak correctly. I don't even know if you guys caught it on the podcast episode, but I was even on steroids. So I got on the plane, I came back to New Jersey. And then as soon as I got home, I just came to get my car and went to urgent care because these allergies were so bad. And I had to go to work the next day. And I was thinking, because it was our anchor day on Wednesday. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, like if this is COVID or this is the flu, then maybe I can work from home. Let me go check and make sure what the heck this is before. And then thankfully it was just allergies, but man, that had me out. So the good thing is that I have the option of working from home, and thankfully I knew it wasn't contagious. So I did what I had to do, right? And I made sure that I took care of myself first, because that's always a priority too, right? You don't want to bite off too much. That's the other thing. Am I doing too much by doing all this back to back, right? Again, with is it too hard? But in reality, it wasn't. Everything was fine. I was able to get back to work, and I was able to continue on with everything that I'm doing, continue on with my podcast. And right, like even my podcast recording, the last one, I recorded it in Jamaica and I posted it after, which I usually post on Mondays. And unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to edit the video. So I didn't want to just post anything. I wanted to make sure that at least I edited and added a few pointers in there. And that's the thing, right? Life isn't always going to be at the same cadence, and we need to be able to adjust and be flexible and move with the moment and create the moments too. That's what we did here. We have always planned on traveling more and being able to do more. And because of all the different reasons that I mentioned today, we were not as ready, right? We didn't have as much vacation time as we have now. We're tenured employees now, so we have more vacation time. As time goes on, we gain more. We have also been able to, before she didn't have her passport. So in reality, she didn't have a way to travel. I always have, because I've always had my green passport since I was a kid, because I have gone internationally to visit Mexico several times. It was always something that we needed to get ready for, and we needed to figure out how to go and how to come back. And now, thankfully, we have the time, we have the money, we have the resources, we have the way to figure it out. Thankfully, it's a lot easier for us to travel. We are human beings who can either focus on facing fear and rising with it, or we can forget about everything and run. And thankfully, my wife and I were able to get through these few days, and especially this one international flight, because traveling within the country is very different than traveling outside of the country and coming back. So thankfully, everything was seamless. Everything was great. We had a great time. We were able to see beyond what we've ever seen before. We had a great time. Now we know, and now we have one experience under our belt, so we can build on that and continue to explore and continue to be open and continue to say yes to new opportunities and new things that may come up in the future. And we are definitely looking forward to visiting new cities and new places and new countries, because that has been on our vision board for a very long time. And in 23, I actually put it on there for us to do. Very happy we're able to check it off our bucket list, because we definitely want to live our life as freely as we can, as open as we can. Yes, the world is challenging. I mean, even me being LGBTQ plus, right? We always consider that, like, where the heck are we going? And what are those laws over there? Because that's a reality we need to face. And not knowing is part of the problem and what holds a lot of people back. But knowing allows us to understand, okay, this is a good option, or this is not a good option. We're not going to go there. But those are the things that we look at. And it's important to be able to, of course, look at the pros and cons of doing things. And at the same time, also understand that there are and could be challenges. And how can we face them, or how can we jump over them? What are those hurdles and how can we get through them? So thank you so much for listening to another episode of Latina Mic Drop. If you like what you heard and it resonated with you, please share the podcast with your friends, with your comadres, with your mother-in-law, with your sisters, with your cousins, con la titi, whoever it is that you want to share it with, your coworkers. Hey, listen, we're on this journey together. We're all seeking community. Pick up my book, Tattoos and Pearls, if you haven't picked it up yet. We have it in hardcover now, which I am over the moon for. I can't even believe that I have it in hardcover. When I open it and I can hear the pages, it is just like amazing. Like I remember when I used to get my textbooks at school. Now I have my own books. It's so cool. Get your copy. It was something that I really wanted to share and be open and vulnerable about not only about my life, but about the experiences that happen to women of minority background living in the United States, how we're code switching and how we learn to do that throughout all our lives. And then how we need to feel empowered and how to let our experiences, our culture be the pearls of wisdom and how we move forward in life. And listen, I also have the Chingona Times, which you can find leadership tools and strategies and how to's, even a 1 month plan if you're interested in that. And then work with me by inviting me to be a speaker for the Hispanic Heritage Month or any other event that you may have that would be aligned with what we talk about here on the podcast. You can check out my website at miriamsimon.online. And I will see you on the flip side. So thank you so much for tuning in. We will see each other next week. Take care.